On the cover of Laura Kinney, Wolverine issue number 4, we see Wolverine herself, in her classic yellow and black suit, locked in an intense arm wrestling match. Her opponent, the Winter Soldier, his metal arm gleaming under the light, grits his teeth in concentration. Their claws are extended, adding an extra layer of intensity to the already fierce competition. The comic panel transitions to Eastern Bloc, 1942, introducing Heinrich Schneider, a scientist who used radiation to create and enhance mutations. The scene shifts to show Captain America and a village captain arriving at a village wiped out by Schneider's bots, juxtaposed with a woman and other people being experimented on because Schneider didn't get the desired results. Back in the present, Bucky, with a determined look, asserts his need for an old-school tracker to find Schneider and finish the job, as Laura stands in a room with her arms crossed. The final shot focuses on Laura as she realizes that Bucky is keeping secrets from her while looking at a photo on a desk. Laura confronts Bucky, questioning why he didn't ask Logan for help and accusing him of smelling like that guy lately, prompting her to say, "Be nice, he's my dad." Bucky tries to enlist Laura's help, mentioning Schneider's last known location in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Bucky promises her 3 things if she comes with him: epic Midwestern scenery, some kick-ass tunes, and revenge on a guy who's done enough bad stuff to mutants. After thinking about it, Laura agrees, but on one condition: she controls the radio. They shake hands, sealing the deal. Laura and Bucky are driving towards Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Laura reflects on how Bucky isn't that different from her as we see flashbacks. They both want to be the good guys and to do the right thing, but they were both made to be weapons, and even in these costumes, they've made mistakes and hurt people. They both fought hard as hell to escape their pasts, to be heroes, even if they don't feel like them some days. At a gas station near the Indiana state line, Laura questions why they're stopping, stating they could easily go another 60 miles with the gas they have. Bucky's response is an outburst of pain, saying he can't go back there, revealing that he recognizes the rage when it builds up so much it chokes you. He can barely speak. Laura agrees to fill the tank, recognizing whatever he's holding on to is eating away at him. She wonders if he regrets for all the stuff he's done, like she does. As Bucky enters the mini-mart, an unseen character says, "Hey, hey." Inside the mini-mart, 2 men are discussing mutants. One man says, "You don't even know any mutants, Jack." And the other man responds, "Well, I sure wouldn't trust any of them if I did know them." He continues, "They're gonna take us all to those camps they got down by the border. Then who knows what they'll do to us?" As Bucky grabs some snacks and soda, he thinks, another conspiracy theory guy. The man behind the counter says, Maybe you just leave people be. If they're not hurting anyone," to which Jack responds, "Sure, maybe today they don't hurt nobody, but you want to wait till you're in some concentration camp. My daddy fought to keep us free, so I'm not letting nobody take my freedoms away." The man behind the counter says, "They're like the boogeyman. They can be anywhere, look like anyone. They'll get you herded in camps in no time. You won't know till it's too late." Laura is filling up the gas when the man who was speaking inside comes out and starts harassing her. She wonders why Bucky wanted to avoid Indiana. He starts by saying, "Come on, fill up faster, will you?" Then says, "Hey, lil lady." When she tells him she wasn't talking to him, he continues, "Well, I'm talking to you." Laura replies, "Back off, bub." He asks if she's afraid she'll upset her boyfriend, saying that he's too old for her anyway. Laura responds, "You have no idea." The man keeps pushing and says that she's not so bad once you get to know her, to which Laura replies, "I'm not interested, all right." Still not getting the message, the man asks, "What's the matter? You one of those mutants or something?" Laura, fed up, says to get his hands off of her, but when he doesn't, she quickly kicks him. Inside the mini-mart, the man behind the counter says, "What's taking Bucky so long?" As the 2 men continue to argue, the cat meows. The man grabs Jack, assuming that he's one of the mutants. The cashier tells him to stop, but he says, "I'll show." Suddenly, Bucky grabs his arm with his metal hand and tells him that's enough. He asks Bucky what he is, some kind of mutie lover. Bucky tells them both to just calm down and says not to start something they can't finish. Inside the mini-mart, Bucky hears Laura saying, "There he is." Bucky asks if she's okay, as she tells him to get the hell out. The man then says that Bucky is a mutie lover too. Girly. Laura replies that it seems like everyone there needs to learn some manners. As the man starts chasing Laura, he says he wasn't done talking to her, as Bucky says that that's no way to talk to a lady. The man behind the counter tells Mickey to call the cops, saying they got a bunch of muties. Holding a knife, the man is determined to teach her a lesson. Before he can strike, Laura quickly moves, saying she thinks it's time this ended. Laura sends the man flying through the window with a loud crash, the glass shattering around him. She thinks to herself that she'll admit that this isn't how she saw today going, but she did tell him to back off, repeatedly. The man behind the counter cocks his shotgun, telling Laura and Bucky to put their hands up, dirty mutie lovers. Laura asks Bucky if they can try to do this peacefully, but he says that ship has sailed. As the man aims, Laura says, "Look, just chill," but is cut off with a loud blam. With SNIKT, Laura's claws emerge, and she yells that doesn't anyone listen anymore. She adds that some people just aren't willing to talk it out, slicing the bullets out of the air. At least Bucky can handle himself, blocking bullets as well. Inside the mini-mart, a green-skinned man in glasses asks if it's over. Another man exclaims, "You're one of them." And another says, "They're a mutant." As Bucky grabs some cash, he hands it to the man behind the counter for the window and supplies, not for the hospitality. As the man reloads his shotgun, Laura emerges, saying, "I prefer orange soda." "And get your nasty mutie butt out of here," says the other man as Laura adds, "No, bigots." They exit the shop and Bucky asks, "You want to go back in there?" Laura says she's glad that Mutant is okay, at least physically. A woman comforts the green mutant, telling him it's okay, he's safe now, that it's going to be okay. But he says that she doesn't get it, that he grew up there and people talk, that in school it was just rumors, but now everyone's gonna know that he's a mutant. Laura HMPHs, saying she guesses not everyone knows how to say thank you, and Bucky says that they're just messing up their lives even more. The green mutant starts running away, saying they've ruined his life, as Bucky and Laura reflect that sometimes they think they're saving people. Laura questions whether she can try to save them all right. Later, on Route 64 in Iowa, Laura reflects that she's proud to be a mutant, that she thinks everyone should be, and that it's who you are. Bucky thinks that he has to remember that not everyone is ready to be out. Laura thinks that Bucky doesn't have to worry about things like this. Laura thinks that she shouldn't have let him talk her into this whole road trip thing, as Bucky doesn't know how he can help. Laura sniffs and tells Bucky to pull over. Bucky remarks that the place is older than he is, and Laura responds that it's one of those abandoned old ghost towns. Laura sniffs, and Bucky tells her to shut up for a sec, will ya? She says she smells explosives. Bucky notes that there's a lot of old abandoned mining towns around here, and that maybe it's just some leftover nitro or dynamite. Laura sarcastically says that they didn't have Semtex in the 1800s. Bucky asks if she's so old she's forgetting things, to which she responds, "Oh, ha ha." Laura points out that the oil spot is new, and asks when he last got that facial recognition hit again. Bucky responds that it was 3 days ago that Schneider came out to hit up a grocery store and hardware store, and that, well, it looks like he made it back. Bucky opens the trunk and says that luckily he came prepared. Laura then SNIKTs her claws, replying that she did too, and adds HMPH. Bucky groans, saying that this is what he gets for recruiting a know-it-all. Laura tells Bucky to grab him while they're hot. We then see both characters in full costume as Laura Kinney, aka the Wolverine, and Bucky Barnes, aka the Revolution. We see Laura and Bucky engaged in a fierce battle against robots, Laura urging Bucky to watch out, as Bucky says to Sonora before being cut off. Laura exclaims that Bucky shouldn't be going anywhere, as she is trying to help the green-skinned mutant, but is then caught in an octopus tentacle. Laura thinks that she likes fighting robots better than fighting people, because it means she doesn't have to hold back, and that she can rip them apart, and no one gets hurt while slicing through them. Bucky destroys a robot with his metal arm, and says that sometimes you need to let the beast out. As Wolverine eviscerates the robots around her, she wonders whether she risks letting the beast control her, reflecting that that's something Logan's struggled with for years, maybe even longer. As she moves to attack another robot, she yells, "Whoa!" as Bucky flies through the air. Laura tears through another robot. Laura says, "Nice work," to which Bucky replies, "Thanks." Laura finishes off the last robot as a figure watches in the shadows and says, "Well done. I expected as much from the famous Winter Soldier and X-23. Bucky retorts that those aren't their names. The mysterious figure adds that, well, that is how he knows them. Laura snicks her claws and says, "Enough talking. Gimme something to cut." Laura and Bucky are dwarfed by a monstrous new robot that contains a skull. A voice then says, "Let us see how well you do against these. To be continued. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay awesome, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing content.